So I wanted to do a video tonight on something that I was thinking about tonight, and also a comment that's kind of been going around the service dog community that you know, a lot of the issues we have with emotional support animals and that kind of thing is because people are legitimately uneducated. And I think that definitely can be a factor. So I wanted to point out the difference between an emotional benefit you get from having a service dog and an actual service dog task, because they do commingle, and nobody wants to talk about that, but you get emotional benefit from having a service dog. That's not what makes them a service dog. That's not what makes you able to have them, but it does happen. And so I know, especially people with psych dogs, a lot of times find themselves thinking, you know, and I did too back in the day, well, do I really need, do I really need this dog? Is it legitimate? You know, especially being afraid of what other handlers are going to think. So I'll just give you some examples. So an example, we're going to go with, well, okay, I'm going to try not to typecast too much, but, so a task. Blocking and covering when the dog comes in front or behind the handler to provide space. That is a task. It is something the dog is specifically trained to do to mitigate the handler's disability. So this handler may be uncomfortable in crowds, may get triggered by people touching them or something like that, and the dog provides space. That's a task. The dog maybe is trained to guide a handler to an exit if they get overwhelmed. So say they're back in the Walmart and they get into a flashback or something and they can't find their way out. You know, the dog's commanded when given to, you know, find the exit, to take the handler to the nearest exit so they can get out and, you know, calm themselves and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what else. I mean, I really don't want to go too much into the deep pressure therapy, because that's really, it's one of those, you know, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other kind of situations. It does help for grounding, for sure, but it should not be the only task a dog does. And a lot of people don't really train it properly. They just use the dog's natural instinct to cuddle and call it a task. And so I'm not going to split hairs over that right now. If you want more information about that, you can reply below, you can email me, all that good stuff. Now, when you work a service dog, or at least this is what happened to me, that before I had a fully trained dog, I basically could not go in public. I could not shop by myself. I could not, nothing. Especially if I was not with another human. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't, it just depends. But since I've worked with the dog, and since my dogs are trained, and I'm used to moving around with the dog, just having the dog with me helps ease my anxiety. Because I know that I'm not there by myself. There are things I can do if I get overwhelmed. I have those tools to create space or find the exit or all those kind of things. So it creates an emotional support situation. But that is not the only thing my dog does. It is not, the only benefit of my dog is not that it calms me having him near me. That's just a byproduct of having a good working team. And the same thing that, you know, socialize. People like to say that too, especially for certain disabilities like autism, that say, oh, well, it helps them be more social, or depression, it helps them get out of the house. Well, that's true, but any dog could do that. Well, again, that is a definite benefit, you know, because you have to let dogs out. You got to feed them, you got to get up, you got to take them to the vet, you got to take them to the park. So they definitely help with that, but a pet could do that. That's not something that's trained. Or, you know, being social. Yes, it does help me interact in public when I have my dog with me, because I can kind of hide behind him a little bit. I can talk to people about him, which is something I'm comfortable. I can talk about service dogs all day long, as I'm sure y'all know. So that's a safe topic for me. I can talk about him instead of me. I know I'm just not alone. There's just this feeling of like knowing I'm not by myself, and that just eases a kind of panic for me. But again, these are all emotional benefits from having a dog that is well trained, that does tasks that I have a good relationship with. It's not qualify them as a service dog for me. Do you see where it kind of overlaps? So there's tasks or things that they're trained to do that directly mitigates your disability. The dog has to do something. It can't just exist. And the emotional benefit is the things that tend to follow after that. So, you know, because I can use my dog as a tool, now I feel less anxious because I know I have those tools with me. Does that kind of make sense? So I'm just trying to keep this one short. That's all we're going to go over for today. But if you have any questions, as y'all are pretty good about doing, just comment on below. You can find me on Instagram. You just search the hashtag #MySuperServiceMutts, and that'll come up with my account and the dog's pictures. Find us on Facebook. The name is Paw Prints on My Heart, but the actual tag is facebook.com/serviceDogLevi. So you can find us there. You can find it here. You can email me. I think I have my email on here. So any of those things. If you have questions, ask them for sure. But hopefully this cleared up a little bit of confusion where the line's kind of drawn between ESAs and service dogs, and how, service dogs can kind of act as both in that scenario. So hopefully it was helpful.